excuse just to go binge eat Doritos for a week? Maybe. This is the brain train if you're coming along. It's kind of fun though. Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome back to my channel. On my health journey, I have started listening to a whole bunch of books, reading things. I'm trying to just learn as much as possible. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the key, and I have been listening to books, reading books, whatever I can get my hands on that might give me a bit of an advantage to losing weight, getting to a point where I don't feel like I'm stressing about it every day. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could lose weight and feel like you're not even trying, or maintain a healthy weight without even thinking that you have to try so hard? I found this really cool audiobook. It's called The Thin Woman's Brain. It's based on the idea that thin women's, she's talking about women, but this can obviously be men or women. She's talking about how thin women's brains and people that struggle, and women that struggle with their weight brains, are actually wired a little bit differently. And the idea is to figure out how to rewire your brain, how to brain train. You guys want to be on the brain train? It's about how to train your brain to feel differently, look differently at food, kind of rewire those connections that apparently are miswired. You guys probably watched my video. If you didn't watch my video on one of the tricks I tried as far as my Dorito obsession goes, where you put something gross with it and eat it, it didn't really work. I didn't follow through with it, but in this book, she gives another kind of different way to look at it. And the funny part is, now this is funny, she was talking about herself and saying her specific trigger foods that this was before she figured out all, Now she can eat anything she wants, by the way. This is why I'm totally gonna embrace I have brain fry right now. Train the brain, fry the brain. She used to struggle with her weight. She used to be on diets, she'd lose some, then she'd go off the diet, and they would all come back plus some, and blah, blah, blah. We know how that goes. Most of us know how that goes. Her trigger foods that she said she literally just couldn't have them in the house or it was game over was ice cream, and she called them nachos. Seriously, ice cream and Doritos. I told my husband this the other day. He came home with ice cream and I went, really? Because then it's like this burning thing in my head. I know that ice cream is in the freezer, and until I eat it, it's going to be in the freezer. And I feel like, oh, I just have to eat it so it's out of the house. Well, I'll just have to eat all of it because I can't deal with thinking it's in there without obsessing over it. Well, her book is about rewiring the brain so we don't feel like that compulsion that we have to do it, that we have to have it, or we're just what's gonna happen? I don't know, but we have to have it. One of the things that she did to kind of help conquer this, she took a whole week and she made a meal that contained those nacho chips every day for a week. Every single day she had those nacho chips that supposedly were this holy grail of food that her body and brain just couldn't resist if they were anywhere near her. So the idea was she did this for the whole week, and by the end of the week, those chips didn't hold so much power over her. Maybe you just get sick of eating them or whatever. It's just not as big of a deal. And I kind of relate this to, we all know, my kids are little, but any kid, you tell them, don't do that, Don't you go over there and push the doorbell 5 times. What are they going to do? They're going to be obsessed with going over there and pushing the doorbell 5 times. Probably more than that. They'll sit there. But because you say don't do it, then your brain automatically is like, ugh. So in this book, she says when we restrict ourselves from certain foods because we think they're not on our diets, we think they're not healthy, we think they're this or that, the other, eventually, when we run into those stressful situations, the ones where we can't handle something happened in our life, we had a bad day at work, somebody's in the hospital, whatever catastrophe happened, for people that binge eat and for people that run to food in those situations, those foods that we restrict and say we can't have are the first ones we run to. And that's absolutely the truth. I know that's the truth because the first thing I run to is Doritos and I want to go get me some ice cream. It's ingrained, it's wired into our brain. So we can fight it all we want with willpower and trying to convince ourselves, and maybe that works for some people. I have a hard time thinking that somebody that relies on willpower to stay at a healthy weight or to lose a lot, that's really, it's draining. Oh, it's draining. It's got to be draining. I can't imagine that that would be a fun way to live. We all want to go to parties. We all want to go out to eat. We all want to do these things that are social, and whether we like it or not, food is always a part of our social situations. It's okay for that to be. We need to rewire our brains to figure out how to not be obsessed. It's a food obsession. It's an addiction. It's a compulsion. To fix that, we train the brain. Brain train. We get it to think differently in those situations. Everything happens for a reason. And I'm stumbling across these books on my walks that I take. And it's awesome because it makes you think differently. And as much as I want to say, I'm not on a diet, I'm on a health, well, what does that really mean? What does it mean that you're not on a diet? You're just on a health journey. Well, this is what it really means. I was saying it, but in my head, I'm still restricting myself and I'm saying, nope, can't do that, can't do that. That's one of her first things that she says that you need to do. And she said, as hard as it is, and obviously she's not saying, oh, just eat whatever you want and whatever quantity you want. It's not telling yourself that you can't have it, that, well, if it's in the house, you better eat it because you don't know when it's coming back, or, all that stuff is an unhealthy way to look at food. So let's figure out how to fix it. I'm ready to fix it. I don't know about you guys. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit that little notification bell because I'm going to have some videos on this that I think you're going to want to watch, especially if you struggle with food addiction like I do and being obsessed about certain foods. So I might try out that week of nacho chips for dinner every night, however many ways I can figure out how to cook them and how to make a dinner out of it. I'm sure they'll taste good and I'm sure my kids will love it and my husband. We're going to see if that does anything. I'm going to do it for a whole week, and maybe I'll take you guys along for that week with me each night when I make something. I'll share it with you. Comment below and let me know what your trigger food is and what plan that maybe you could have, or if you want to do this with me, pick that food and say you're going to eat it every day for a week. And the idea is that after that week, that compulsion and that obsession, that food doesn't have such a strong hold on you after that week. I don't know what it's gonna do to my weight for a week, but it's all in the name of YouTube. Right? Am I right? We'll see if it works though, because I'm all about this and I really truly believe our brains are so powerful, and if we can rewire them to think the right way, we can all have the thin woman's brain. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Blah, 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 blah. Brain train, all aboard. It's a little corny.